Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault, has died. Her family say that she took her own life at her home in Australia. She was 41. Last month, it was reported she'd been in a serious car crash. She claimed disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and his friend Ghislaine Maxwell had trafficked her when she was 17. Prince Andrew denied all the accusations against him, but reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022. Katie Watson reports.
Virginia Giuffre was one of the most prominent accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced US financier accused of running a vast sex trafficking network. Giuffre claimed she was trafficked by him and forced to have sex with the Duke of York. This photo of them together, now infamous. Prince Andrew, though, has always denied the accusations. He reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022 that contained no admission of liability or apology. In an interview with Panorama in 2019, she stood by the accusations.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
In a statement, Virginia Giuffre's family said she was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors. In the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. We know that she is with the angels. Born in the US, the 41-year-old had recently been living with her children and husband close to Perth, but recent reports suggest the couple had split after 22 years of marriage. Early this month, she posted on Instagram to say that she'd been seriously injured in a car accident, which her family later said she had not intended to make public. Local police later disputed the severity of the crash. Western Australia police say they are not treating her death as suspicious. Katie Watson, BBC News in Sydney.
I'd like to speak to our Sydney correspondent, Phil Mercer. Phil, what more have the family said?
We've had a pretty poignant statement from Virginia Giuffre's family saying that she was a heroic and courageous campaigner against sexual abuse, and that the stance that she took was a light that lifted the lives of survivors of abuse around the world. So we know that the police and the ambulance authorities in Western Australia were called to a home in the near Gabby area. This is to the north of Perth, the state capital of Western Australia, on Friday evening, and the authorities say that Ms. Giuffre was found there unresponsive, and that family statement saying that she had died by suicide, and that the weight of the abuse that her family say that she has suffered became too heavy, and in the end, for Ms. Giuffre, became unbearable.
But she very much became a figurehead, didn't she, for other survivors of abuse?
Yeah, she was a prominent, not only a prominent accuser of Jeffrey Epstein and his friends, the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison for sex trafficking offences. She was also a prominent campaigner for the Me Too movement. She had alleged that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had trafficked her to Britain's Prince Andrew when she was 17 years of age. Prince Andrew has always strenuously denied these allegations, but in 2022, the Prince did reach an out-of-court settlement with Ms. Giuffre. We don't know the specific details of that settlement, but clearly Virginia Giuffre suffering under the weight, according to her family, of the abuse that they say she suffered repeatedly in certain periods of her life.
And tell us more about this car accident. She said that she'd been seriously injured.
This was a post on Instagram in the last month or so, and these are just suppositions, but perhaps when you look into the details of that post online, it may give an indication of the fragility of her state of mind. Virginia Giuffre had said that she'd been involved in a very serious car accident to such a degree that she said online that she only had a few days to live. So there was enormous concern by the people close to her and other people about her physical and mental state. And what was interesting, that the police in Western Australia downplayed the severity of that accident, but of course her death will be investigated by the authorities in Western Australia. And once again, this is only supposition, but having an episode like that so public in the last few weeks ago does perhaps indicate the fragility of her mental state. And her family say that she fought this heroic fight against sexual abuse and took her life by suicide, and she was 41 years of age.
Phil, for the moment, thank you very much. Phil Mercer in Sydney.